Good morning to all. My name is S. Tendal. I'm working as Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. Today I'm going to give a video lecture, Introduction of the Solid Mechanics. Is a course code U18PCCE403. So this is solid mechanics is an important and main subject for the civil engineering. So before we are going to discuss about the subject, I hope already you have gone through the what is the engineering mechanics. So in the engineering mechanics is a basic subject for the engineering. So normally we are in the engineering mechanics we are studying three basic fundamental. One is a static, second one is a dynamic, and the mechanics of the material. So here in the static and the dynamic we are studying what is the external effect on the rigid body. But here in the static and the dynamic, we do not consider what is the internal effect on the body and the deformation of the body. Where in the mechanics of the material, we are concentrate what is the internal effects on the body and what is the deformation of the body. So this two effect playing main role for the civil engineering design. For example, you can design any one member. So before that, you know what is the property for the member and what is the load acting on the member and what is the types of the load and what is the effect on the deformation. So everything you know, after that only you design one member. So this overall aspect, we are studying about the mechanics of the material. So the next one, concept of solid mechanics. So the concept of solid mechanic, what is the concept means? We are studying about what is the strength of the material. That is called as here solid mechanics. So here in the strength of the material means different types of the properties, different types of the material, different behavior we are studying. So finally, what is the strength we are studying? That is called as a concept for the solid mechanics. Next one. So here this is the overall presentation outline. The first one, stress and strain at a point. So here we are discuss about what is the stress and what is the strain and what is the types of the stress, what is the formulas and some problems we are discussed. Next one is a Hooke's law. Next, third one, relationship between elasticity constants. So normally three elasticity constant we are studying. So what is the relationship between all the three elasticity constants? Next one, steel and concrete. Next, ultimate stress, yield stress. So finally, stress strain diagram for the mild steel. So here steel and concrete, what is the definition for the steel and concrete? What is the properties for the steel and concrete? And what is the ultimate stress? What is the maximum ultimate stress? What is the yielding point and yield stress? We are discussed. So finally, we are discuss about what is the stress strain diagram for the mild steel. Next. So the first one is a stress. So here, what is the definition for the stress means? The force acting per unit area is called a stress. For example, you can take any one member, we are applying the forces. So after that, the member will be deformation. So the force acting the per unit area is called as a stress. So mathematically, we called the force per unit area is a stress. So stress equal to sigma. So what is the formula for the stress? Stress equal to force by area or P by area. So here F or P we are used. So F is a force, P is a load, the same only. So stress equal to external deformation forces divided by area. So what is the unit of the stress? Newton per mm square. Next. So next here in this slide we discuss about what is the types of the stress. So there are two types of the stress. One is the normal stress. The second one is the tangential stress. So this two types of the stress depends upon the how much of external force act on the body. So the first one is the normal stress. So in the normal stress, how do we define is a normal stress means the force acting axial direction that is called is a normal stress. So normal stress means sigma equal to P by A. Okay. So where here sigma equal to a normal stress, P equal to axial force, A equal to cross sectional area. So the normal stress there are two types. One is a tensile stress. The second one is a compressive stress. So here, so what is the definition for the tensile stress means? You can see this image. So when a member, this member is subjected equal and opposite pull is called as a tensile stress. So it means the length will be changed. The length will be increased because we are applying equal and opposite pull. The both two sides we are equal and opposite pull. So after that the length of the member will be changed. It means the length of the member will be increased. Okay, so the increased direction is called as the tensile direction. So this is the tensile stress. So tensile stress means tensile load divided by area. Next one is a compressive stress. You can see this image. So the compressive stress means when a member subjected to equal and opposite push is called as a compressive stress. If a compressive stress means we are applying equal and opposite push, so the length will be decreased. That's called as a compressive stress. So this cross section area, change in the cross section area, it means the length will be decreased. The cross section area is called as a compressive stress. So you can see this next second image. So here this is a universal testing machine. So we are tested for the compressive strength of the concrete. So after applying the load, the specimen will be failure. So the length will be decreased. Okay. So if a compressive strength means stress equal to compressive load divided by area. So next for the tangential stress. So what is the tangential stress means? You can see this image. Here the force acting horizontal direction that called is a tangential stress. Okay, so if we are calculating what is the theta, it means it's a radian. So the tangential force we are calculating. So that is called as a tangential stress. The tangential stress and also called as a shearing stress. Okay. So the next one, you can see this in this image. These are types of the stresses. The first one is a compression. The second one is a tension. It's the third one is a shear. The fourth one is a torsion and bending. Next. So next here in this slide, we are discuss about what is the definition for the strain. So you can see this image. The change, for example, you can take any one member. We are applying the force or load. The member length will be changed. Okay, it means original length divided by the ratio of the change in the length divided by original length is called as a strain. Okay, so here you can see this image. This is the original length. After we are applying the forces, the length will be changed. This is change in the length. So the ratio of the change in the length divided by original length is called as a strain. So what is the unit of the strain means? It's a dimensionless. There is no unit. If stress means what is the unit? Newton per mm squared. If strain means it's a dimensionless, there is no unit. So next one, the types of the strain. So the types of the strain, there are three types. The first one is a longitudinal strain. The third one is a volumetric strain. The shear strain. Okay, so the three types of the strains we are classified depends on the change in the length and the change in the volume and the change in the shape. So the first one, longitudinal strain. So here, what is the longitudinal strain? Means the ratio of the change in the length divided by original length is called as a longitudinal strain. Okay. The next one is a volumetric strain. So in the volumetric strain, when a deforming forces produce change in the volume, it means the ratio of the change in the volume divided by original volume is called as a volumetric strain. The third one is a shear strain. You can see this image. So the change in the, it means we are applying the force horizontal direction. So the shape will be changed tangentially. So that is called the shear strain. Okay. So next we will discuss about one problem. I read the question. A square steel rod 20 mm into 20 mm in a section into carrying an axial load of 100 kilonewton. Calculating the shattering length 50 mm equal to 2.14 into 10 power of 2 kilonewton per meter square. So in this problem, first you write the given data. So a square steel rod, because it's one square steel rod. So the area equal to 20 mm into 20 mm. You convert to meter, 0.2 into 0.2. So finally, a cross section area 0.004 meter square. So next one, shortening length is a 50 mm. P equal to is a 100 kilonewton. So E equal to E is a Young's modulus, E equal to 2.14 into 10 power of 2 kilonewton per meter square. So for this problem, you can calculating to the shortening length. It means change in the length. It means length will be 50 mm. So calculating the shortening length means we are find out what is the change in the length. Next is a formula. So stress equal to force by area, E equal to stress by strain. Next. So first stress equal to force by area. So force available in the given data. So is the 100. Cross section is 0.004. So final stress equal to 25,000 kilonewton per mm squared. So next E equal to stress by strain. So if you mean stress already find out. So strain equal to E available in the given data. So you can change this formula. Here strain equal to stress by E. Okay, so what is the formula for the strain? Means change in the length divided by original length. Stress already we are find out 25,000 kilonewton. So 25,000 divided by E available in the given data 2.14 into 10 power of 2. So the change in the here length also is available. So change in the length equal to 25,000 divided by 2.14 into 10 power of 2 into length. So length is a 0.5, already 50 mm. So convert to meter 0.05. So available in the given data. So finally the change in the length is 0.0584 mm. So the shortening of the rod, finally this answer is a 0.0584 mm. Okay. So the next one, so here in this present PPT we are discuss about what is the Hooke's law. Okay, so Hooke's law means when the material is loaded within the elasticity limit, the stress directly proportional to the strain. Okay, so before we are going to discuss about Hooke's law, so you know means what is the elasticity and elasticity limit. So here what is the elasticity means? For example, you can take any one rubber band. Okay, we are applying force two side. Okay, after we are removing the forces, this rubber band is come to so original position, that is original shape, that is called as the elasticity. Okay, so when a force are removed, the object will be returned to the initial shape and size. It's called as a elasticity. So the next one is the elasticity limit. So we are applying the maximum force, that is called as the maximum stress. So we are applying the maximum stress within the elasticity limit. So after that we remove the forces, this come to original position. It means what is it here? What is the differentiation between the elasticity and the elasticity limit? This is very, very important. Here the elasticity limits mean we are applying maximum force, maximum stress. Okay, after that we remove the force means is come to the shape will be come to its original position. Okay, so that is called as the elasticity limit. Okay, so here if the maximum stress from which elasticity body will recover the original state after the removal of the deforming forces, that is called as the elasticity limit. Okay, now it's a Hooke's law. So here for the Hooke's law, when a material is loaded within the elasticity limit, the stress directly proportional to the strain. Okay, you can see this graph. So here this is a force. Force means we are applying the load. So this is extension. So we are applying the load. The x-axis. So this x-axis is a extension. So y-axis is a force. Okay. So this force and extension. So it's a directly proportional. Okay. This is two is directly proportional. That is called as a Hooke's law. So this test directly proportional to the strain is called as a Hooke's law. So here underline this line. This is very, very important. Within the elasticity limit. Okay. So within the elasticity limits means the maximum stress, that is called as within the elasticity limit. Okay. So what is the Hooke's law means? Stress directly proportional to the strain within the elasticity limit. So within the elasticity limits here is very, very important. Okay. So the next one, relationship between elasticity constant. Okay, so the first one, modulus of elasticity. So the modulus of elasticity, the other name called is the Young's modulus. So what is the modulus of the elasticity? Means stress directly proportional to the strain, that is called as the modulus of the elasticity. So unit is a Newton per meter square. So the next one, types of modulus of elasticity. So the types of modulus of elasticity, there are three types. So first one is a Young's modulus or modulus of elasticity. The second one, bulk modulus, and third one, modulus of rigidity. Okay. So here the first one is a modulus of elasticity. So what is the definition for the modulus of the elasticity? The ratio of the normal stress to the lactitudinal state. Okay, that is called as a Young's modulus. Okay. So here you can see this image. Consider a wire length L. Okay, so the cross section area A is fixed at one end, is a rigid. Okay, so here what is the normal stress means? Stress means force by area. Okay, so this force and cross section area. And what is this here? Strain means this change in the length due to the force, the length will be changed. Due to the elongation, the length will be changed. So this change in the length divided by original length. Okay, so that is called as a Young's modulus. Okay, so here what is the rotation for the Young's modulus is E equal to F divided by A equal to L divided small l divided by capital L. So FL divided by AL. Okay, so what is a unit means? Is a Newton per mm square. So Young's modulus formula stress divided by strain. Next, bulk modulus. So bulk modulus is a K. So what is the definition for the bulk modulus? Is a ratio of the direct stress to volumetric strain. That is called as a bulk modulus. Okay. So here, when a body is tested within the elasticity limit, the ratio of direct stress to corresponding volumetric strain is a constant. So that is called as a bulk modulus. Okay. So here is noted that line within the elasticity. For all three constant, we are applying the force within the elasticity limit. Okay. So the ratio of the direct stress to volumetric strain is called as a bulk modulus. So the next one, shear modulus, is other name called as a modulus of rigidity. Okay. So the ratio of the shear stress and shear strain is called as a modulus of rigidity or shear modulus. So the next one, so here we are discussed about steel and concrete. So the first one, steel. Steel is a ductility behavior, is a solid material, ability to deform under the tensile stress. Okay, so here you can see this image is a steel copper wire. So normally steel is a ductility behavior. So what is the ductility? What type of steel? What type of material means? Is a ductility behavior. So what is the ductility behavior means? It tends to elongate. Okay, it tends to deform. That is called as a ductility behavior. So steel, what type of material means? Is a ductility material. And concrete, next one is a concrete. Concrete is a material, is brittle when subjected to stress, is breaks without significant deformation. Okay, so what is a good example for the concrete? All the glasses. Okay, if for a, you can take any one glass bottle. We are applying some forces, the glasses will be breaks because without information, without significance, is a deformed, is a rupture, deformed and collapsed. Okay, so concrete is a brittle material. If a brittle material means there is no indication, if we are applying the forces means the structure will be collapsed. The concrete the same, like a glass, but steel is not a brittle material, it's a ductility behavior, it's a ductility material. So we are applying the force means is ability to deform. Next one, so yield limit. So here, what is the yield limit means? You can see that graph. So here the x-axis is a strain, x-axis is a strain, y-axis is a stress. So what is the yield limit mean? We are applying the forces means after elasticity limit, the yielding will be formed. So yielding, there are two types. One is the upper yielding, another one is the lower yield point. Okay, so the position between yield point and lower yield point called as a yield stage. The stress corresponding point and the upper yield point called as a yield stress. Okay, so here what is the yield stress means? The stress corresponding to point, the upper yield point is called as a yield stress. So if yielded means first after elasticity, you can see this image. So this is after elasticity limit. Again we are applying the load means, so the structure will be yielding. The first one is here. So in this slide, we discuss about Poisson ratio and strain energy. So what is the definition for the Poisson ratio? The ratio of the lateral strain to linear strain, that is called as a Poisson ratio. If lateral strain means change in the length divided by original length, the linear strain means change in the diameter divided by original diameter. So that another definition is also for the Poisson ratio. The ratio of the primary strain to secondary strain is called as a Poisson ratio. If Poisson ratio means 1 by m. So the next one is the strain energy. So here, what is the definition for the strain energy means? So the strain energy stored after removal of the forces, the energy it will be stored, that is called as a strain energy. So the best example for the strain energy, bow and arrow. So for the bow and arrow, the loader undergoes deformation after released, so the regain is original position. So the energy it will be stored, that is called as a strain energy. So the next one, resilience. So here the strain energy stored by the body within the elasticity limit, that is called as the resilience. So the next one, modulus of the resilience. So the modulus of the resilience, what is the definition? The maximum strain energy of the body within the elasticity limit. That it means up to elasticity limit, that is called as the modulus of resilience. So the next one, we are discuss about one problem. A concrete cylinder of diameter is 150 mm and length equal to 300 mm. When subjected to an axial compressive load of 240 kN, resultant as increased diameter 0.127 mm and decreased length 0.28 mm. Find the value of Poisson ratio and modulus of velocity. So in this problem, so first you can write the given data. So here the first one, diameter of the cylinder is 150 mm and and the length of the cylinder is 300 mm. So increasing diameter is 0.127 mm, decreasing length 0.28 mm. Axial load is P equal to 240 kilonewton. So next to find, so here there are we are determine Poisson ratio and modulus of the velocity. So next one for the formula. For the Poisson ratio means lateral strain divided by linear strain. If a lateral strain means change in the diameter divided by original diameter. Linear strain means change in the length divided by original length. So hence modulus of velocity equal to stress by strain. So here first one. So the first one we are find out a lateral strain and after that linear strain. So finally equal to stress and strain we are find out. So the next one for the solution. The first lateral strain, what is the formula for the lateral strain? Change in the diameter divided by original diameter. So for this given data, the change in the diameter and original diameter is available. So the increased diameter is a change in the diameter. So 0.127 mm and the diameter of the cylinder is 150 mm. So here for the change in the diameter 0.127 and the diameter of the cylinder is 150 mm. So finally the lateral strain 0.00846. So next you can find out linear strain. So for the linear strain, what is the formula? Change in the length divided by original length. So here for the change in the cylinder is length of the cylinder is 300 mm and decreasing length is a 0.228 mm. Okay, so if you substitute the answer, change in the length is 0.28 is a decreased length divided by original length is 300 mm. So finally for the linear strain 0.00933. So after that you can find out the Poisson ratio. If Poisson ratio means here lateral strain divided by linear strain. If lateral strain 0.00846 divided by linear strain 0.00933. So the Poisson ratio 0.907. So next you can find out the Young's modulus. So for the Young's modulus, what is the formula? Stress by strain. If stress means what is the formula? Force by area. If strain means change in the length divided by original length. So for the given data, force available, cross section area and available. Okay, so axial forces is a 240 kilonewton. So it's a 240 divided by 4 into 0.3 and strain is the change in the length divided by original length. So already we have find out what is the linear strain 0.00933. You can substitute the answer and finally find out the and calculating. Finally find out the what is the Young's modulus for this. Okay, it's a 14 point. You get answer 14.555 into 10 power of 2 kilonewton per mm square. Okay, so the next one here we are discuss about a stress strain diagram for the mild steel. So this is the last topic for this presentation. So here I draw one graph for the stress and strain diagram for the mild steel. So here for the stress and strain diagram for the mild steel means, so we are find out what is the stress and strain for diagram for the mild steel. So you can using universal testing machine, you can test it on mild steel, you are applying tensile forces. So finally we noted what is the stress and strain. After that we draw the graph that is called as a stress strain diagram for the mild steel. So here the first one, so for the universal testing machine, using the mild steel, you can apply the tensile stress. The first here, so for the values noted, the force equal to stress. Um, the deformation is called as a strain. So the stress you bolted the stress you in the y axis and strain in the x axis. Okay, this is a graph. So from the origin point is called O and A, B, C, D, E, F. So here the first one the up to O to A, the limit of within the elasticity limit. So then A to B, it's a yielding point. So C to D, upper yielding point and lower yielding point, and D is a strain hardening point, and E is a ultimate stress. So S is a failure point. Okay. So the first one, so you can see this image. So here, the tensile force applied to the uniform bar of mild steel is gradually increased, and the corresponding extension of the bar is measured. Graph is a straight line. Extension directly proportional to the applied force. Okay. So here, for the steel rod, we are applying the tensile force. So after we are applying the force, so the rod will be elongate, deformed some distance. Okay. So that's why that is called, say, the y-axis is a force, the x-axis is a extension. If force means it's a stress, if extension means it's a strain. Okay. So the first one, for this graph, first one, the go to the A point, elasticity limit or limits of proportionality. Okay. So here, what is the elasticity limit and limits of proportionality means? So you draw the graph for the stress, for the force and the extension. It means stress and strain. So the both the graph sightline extension directly proportional to the applying force. Okay. This extension directly proportional to the force. It means the strain directly proportional to the strain. That is called as the elasticity limit or limits of proportionality. So next one, so after the first we are applying the tensile load within the elasticity limit. So after that again we are applying the load. So the member, the rod will be again deformed. In this stage is a yielding. So if yielding, first one, there are two types of yielding. One is lower point, lower yielding, another one is upper yielding. So the position between upper yield point and lower yield point is called as a yield stage. The stage corresponding to point, the upper yield point is a yield stage. Okay. So here, after we applying the forces, the specimen will be some yielding, that is called as a lower yield point. So the next, after again we are applying the forces, so it's a up, the member will be yielding, that is called as upper yield point. Here is noted the point. Upper yield point and lower yield point is called as yielding stages. Both upper yield point and lower yield point is called as yielding stages. After limits of proportionality, again we are applying the forces, so the rod will be yielding. It means it's both upper yield point and lower yield point. In that two stages is called as yield stages. But here, what is the yield stress means? The upper yield point first occurs the lower yield point. After that only the upper yield binding occurs. So the upper yield binding is called as a yield stress. Okay. So this is the diagram. This is a yield point. B is a lower yield point and C is a upper yield point. So the next one, after again we are applying the forces to the rod. So after yielding, again we are applying the forces. So that stage is called as a strain hardening stages. Okay, it means the deep part. Okay, so here this is strain hardening part. Okay, uh, in this diagram, this is a deep point. This is a deep point is called as a strain hardening point. Up to the D to E point here, the up to the D to E point is called as a strain hardening point. So again we are applying the forces. After strain hardening, further strain beyond lower yield point required increasing the stress. So again we are applying the forces. So the rod will be fully stressed, fully strained. So the maximum stress, finally the maximum stress reached, the point is called as the ultimate stress. Okay, the E point is called as the ultimate stress. So this is the E point fully reached the maximum. Again after that, so again we, after ultimate stress, again we are applying the forces to the rod. So finally the specimen will be fracture. It means fracture, bending and failure, neglecting. Okay, whatever this, the terms are everything is same only. What? Okay, so this is called as the finally failure point. Okay, so this F point is called as the failure point. Okay, so this is a steel, wire steel rod. So this diagram after failing, so this is called as a after failing because it's a yielding. So much of failure. Finally, this rod will be stained. Finally, this stage. Okay. So we draw the graph for the stress and stain. Stress and stain. So the all the point is called as a stress and stain graph for the mild stain. So finally, so thank you. So this video we are discussed about this basic introduction of the what is the stress and stain, types of the stress and stain, and also some of the problems and what is the elasticity constant and what is the three relationship of the elasticity constant, Hooke's law, and what is the Poisson ratio and stain energy resilience. Finally, stress and stain diagram for the mild state. Okay. So thank you guys. Thank you guys.